Women are the fastest growing group of veterans. In 2000, women were just 4% of the veteran population, but by 2040, they are expected to make up 18% of all veterans. Despite this, or maybe because of it, there are some troubling reports and feedback from female veterans about how they're treated, particularly in the VA healthcare space. There have been studies and other reports coming out that female veterans feel either challenged by folks asking, what are you doing here? Are you even a veteran? All the way to feeling sexually harassed and uncomfortable in traditional VA-MC spaces. An interview in 2020 of female veterans said that there were sexist undertones during their healthcare visits. They didn't feel like their symptoms were taken seriously. And others were told that their symptoms were just hormones. So, VA has taken these considerations under advisement because trends like this have serious consequences. For example, the suicide rate for female veterans is a lot higher than it is for non-veteran women. It's about 92% higher.
It's a lot.
And so, for male veterans, the difference is about 44%. So that's a significant increase. So today we're going to address some recent strides that VA has taken to provide benefits in the healthcare space and others for female veterans. We'll talk about healthcare, like I said, disability benefits specific to female veterans, parenthood, and housing benefits that flow from there. So Jenna, why don't you lead us off talking about kind of what VA has done in the healthcare space for female veterans?
Yeah, and I didn't know about this, so this is really exciting, and I'm happy to share it. So every VA facility has a women veterans program manager who's designated to coordinate gender-specific health care. And within that health care, that includes full gynecological care, contraception, menopause support, and breast cancer screenings. They also maintain a specific website for women veterans to help find available health services. And there's a women's call center. So you can call and speak to a trained woman representative who can help you with VA healthcare enrollment and provide information about eligibility for benefits. And so you want to check that out at womenshealth.va.gov. But I had no idea that there was such specific information and care for women who want to speak with other women about their conditions. So that's great.
I think it's great too. And along those lines, in terms of pregnancy, maternity, and postpartum benefits, VA maternity care is covered through community providers. So a lot of VA MCs, they don't have maternity wards, but you can get covered through community care with coordination from the maternity care center coordinator. Postpartum care now extends 12 months after delivery,
That's
which
great.
Seems like a minimum to me, but that's all right. I think it's up from what it used to be. And VA now covers 14 days of newborn medical care. So, I think for those out there who are not on VA health insurance, your health insurance usually covers your newborn for a couple days until they're able to get on their own policy. VA is covering for 2 weeks, which is great. So you get all those initial visits out of the way. And VA has the services that you would expect. They have, lactation support, parenting classes, mental health screening for new moms, pregnancy planning and counseling, and care for, high risk and unviable pregnancies. And now VA even offers IVF access to veterans with service-connected health conditions that can cause infertility. And so that's great news because it can be a very expensive process for a lot of couples out there or even singles out there who want to have a child and are unable to do so.
It's great. Military sexual trauma care is also free, what we call MST. And the great thing about this is that there's no requirement that you are service-connected for an MST-related condition. You don't have to prove that you were a victim of MST. So I think that's really, really great because we know how traumatic that can be and how much there still is a stigma. There's also women-only therapy groups and MST-focused groups specifically, including residential treatment if you think that you need a little bit extra. And you can also request mental health providers of a specific gender. So if you only feel comfortable speaking with another woman, then that's something that you're entitled to. Intimate partner violence is also something that's a little concerning among female veterans. And there are coordinators now present at every VA facility that you can go to if you are experiencing intimate partner violence.
That's great. In one of those studies I was talking about earlier, just anecdotally, some female veterans were reporting how they were sent to MST group therapy, but it was mixed genders.
Yeah.
And so, if
that can be
you're
triggering.
Trying to explain your trauma or delve into that trauma and it just, it really was an uncomfortable situation. So that person just said, I'm not going to go to treatment. So it's great that VA is doing these things for both genders, all genders, any gender, to be comfortable in the space when you're seeking care, especially for MST. So in terms of disability compensation, there are conditions that are, male veteran only. But there also are conditions that, if they arise during your service for female veterans are also compensable. And so things like endometriosis, polycystic ovary disease, and unfortunately, if you end up with a condition that requires a hysterectomy, those are all service connectable. Again, if they're due to service or arise during your military service. And then SMCK is payable for loss of use of reproductive organs. So if you have hysterectomy with oophorectomy, you get the total removal of your ovaries, then you can get that SMCK level.
Yeah. And as I mentioned before, just to reiterate, there are women veteran coordinators in all VA facilities now, so they can assist you with navigating those different benefits, MST claims, fertility-related disabilities, whether or not you're entitled to SMCK, all of that. And they can provide support letters, which is great too.
And so in terms of housing and family benefits, and these are benefits that are available to any gender, but the Deborah Sampson Act of 2021 mandated many of the improvements that you and I discussed today, including extending that newborn care and permanent authorization of child care assistance, which is wonderful. Also, it mandated studies on women's prosthetics. So if you think about that, if a prosthetic is really designed for a male body, a male veteran, the average male veteran who needs, a prosthetic device and not necessarily shaped to a female body, that could really be quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So studying female prosthetics and how those need to be designed, and an emphasis on treating women veterans with dignity. There's also the Protecting Moms Who Served Act, which was enacted also in 2021. To help advance the understanding and scope of mortality and morbidity in maternal care among veterans, as well as make critical investments in maternity care at large. So really great things coming out of those two acts.
Yeah. I feel like the VA has made some recent policy changes that are really having a positive impact on female veterans. 2023 to 2024 was the largest enrollment year on record for women veterans seeking healthcare. And there are now more than 53,000 women enrolled in VA healthcare, which is great. But there's still obviously work to be done. So we hope women veterans take advantage of these benefits and help these programs grow and make a difference in the future.